Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wheelchair Tech Friday. We have two areas that we will discuss, and I'm going to insert some of my opinions in this one because it is kind of important to review and put my thoughts into situations that come up sometimes, and you also are more than welcome to put in your ideas and your posts about your thinking about the articles that are discussed in Wheelchair Tech Fridays. So always look for links in the description box because I always post the direct article in which I make comments about. So this one is from a internet newsletter. It's called AT. The title is The Latest News in Assistive Technology. So this is in the UK, not in the USA. So the article is called Autonomous Wheelchair and Mobile Robotic Arm Will Be Trialed at State-of-the-Art Smart Home. So it is assistive technologies will be trialed at a new state-of-the-art smart home at Aberystwyth University, which is aiming to improve quality of life for the elderly or people with health conditions. So I hope I pronounced the name of the university okay. It has a very strange spelling, so so my apologies, UK. So the facility is about improving people's lives and ensuring that they have the tools on hand to have a high quality of life, no matter what their age. We want to work with both public and private sector, sorry, I have a fly, partners so we can truly deliver and fulfilling people's needs. So, it's not the first time that we have seen, people setting up a mock home or a mock bedroom. So you can go in there and get ideas or sometimes even practice for rehab. So you'll see in rehabilitation, sometimes they'll have a little corner carved out as a bedroom or as a kitchen so that you can practice some of your skills, especially for people who have spinal cord injuries or have had a stroke or other conditions. So and are new to getting back on their feet per se and having to practice. So this is a practice for technology that they're developing. Which is great. I think we need to have more of those, attached to clinics or attached to maybe not even attached. Maybe they build a home with technology and ideas for improving people's lives, especially those with disabilities. So there you have it. The UK is using this university to be able to do this and bring together people of all backgrounds to work on a home that would be accessible. So that's good. Thank you, UK, for doing that. Thank you for the university who is opening up their space and their institution to be able to do this. So we appreciate it no matter where in the world it's happening. So thank you, UK. Now, this is an important one for technology across the board. This is from a newsletter that I get from time to time. It's called the National Center for Public Policy Research, and I think this is in the USA. But anyway, it was an article, a kind of a negative one, if you ask me, about power wheelchairs. And this person who went into this article or, did her research, her name is Melissa Ortiz, if I'm not mistaken. So she spoke about, the power wheelchairs and how she feels like people with disabilities the power wheelchair is being pushed on them, and what's going to happen if, and the dangers of power wheelchairs, and what's going to happen with that, and if we don't have the electricity to power our, there she is, she's in a wheelchair herself. So to power our wheelchairs and, she put it on the negative side, when you want to see the positive and you look at the negative. So, it's important to look at both sides if you really want to evaluate how your life is going or what kind of tools are you using. Everything has its pros and cons. And certainly I think Melissa wanted to put that out in the forefront. So here is part of her article. People with disabilities who use wheelchairs could technically be called the first drivers of electric wheelchairs, vehicles. Electric wheelchairs have been in a wide use since the 1950s. Users know firsthand the blessings and hazards of anything that runs on battery. Being able to go where one wishes, regardless of the physical ability, is a true blessing. But getting stuck in the cold or rain when a battery will not operate at full power is a hazard. So she's kind of pointing out, the blessings, but also the problems that we have with power wheelchairs, either tipping over or not being able to charge them because we lost electricity, and she goes on giving some examples. So that's important. However, if we were to look at policies, rules, and regulations for power wheelchairs, I would say, in my opinion, to consider anytime you build any kind of power wheelchair for it to be used indoors or outdoors. I don't care what kind of power wheelchair it is, but to build it for both purposes. To keep safety in mind, for it to have flashlights or some kind of lights on them, because you don't know what the client or the person who purchases that particular wheelchair, or especially the power wheelchair, are they going to go out only during the day, or are they going to go out at night? Are they going to go by themselves? Is that going to be their only means of transportation? Are they going to have to get on the road, get back on the sidewalk, go through parking lots? I don't know. And either does the person who's selling this power wheelchair to the other person. So I would say yes to the companies who build power wheelchairs, please, to start implementing safety features onto every power wheelchair, because you don't know if the person's going to be only using it indoors or outdoors during the day or at night. And if they go out at night, they need to absolutely have those safety features so they don't get run over on the road. So, and that's why I wrote that article or did that video on why did the wheelchair user cross the road. So, and it talks about, the dangers of being at night and what you can do to your power wheelchair to make it safer out there on the road. So, in terms of tip overs and accidents that people have with power wheelchairs, the problems that they have at home, making holes in their walls, etc. I think that would be kind of like a requirement that if you're going to get a power wheelchair of this magnitude, whether it's a simple power wheelchair or a complex power wheelchair, that you have to go through some training. And that you're not able to use it full-time until you get the skills that you need to not run into things. If you need a Lucy apparatus onto your power wheelchair, then that needs to be done. So really to look at the user, and for the user to have, or future user to really have good, solid training. Because I can tell you that my power wheelchair was shown to me. I got in it, I did a couple of spins, and that was it. I was sent home with a power wheelchair. And of course, I found out, with my practice at home, the things that I needed to be careful with. However, that could have been prevented by, some practice. So I think that, a standardized practice needs to be done with the future owner of the power wheelchair so they can understand the dangers of tipping over and what kind of circumstances could put them in danger of falling over, the dangers of making holes in your walls, doors, and how to prevent that. Getting used to backing up, getting used to that perception of how big your chair is. So, you know what I'm talking about. So, the technology is great. It's true, and it has its drawbacks. So I think in terms of looking at policies, public policy, that in the medical field that they start to design or have as a requirement that the person do a heavy duty practice so that they get the feel of the wheelchair and know how to prevent a tip over, to know how to say, no, that ramp is too steep, this ramp is okay, all those kind of circumstances. Once in the winter, I had a driver, there was so much snow that he put the ramp down on the street, and that made the ramp very, very steep. And knowing that the ramp was wet, all that kind of stuff, could have put me at risk of sliding down the ramp instead of driving down the ramp. And there could have been, an oopsie there. So yes, I think that, she is correct that there are dangers with power wheelchairs, and we sometimes, the public, we have to test these power wheelchairs. And then come to find out, as a new power wheelchair user and the new design of that power wheelchair, some serious incidences happen. So I support her in terms of, the difficulties we have with power wheelchairs, but also I support, to look at policies for the medical field so they can help us, or for the stores themselves also, to have policies in which they can't sell a power wheelchair or a scooter to someone until they get the needed practice that they need. And I don't know if that means coming back the following day, coming back the next week and doing the heavy duty training, but it is really crucial to keep the client or the patient safe at all times. So that is my comment on her article. She added in Chicken Little and the story of Chicken Little. So she makes an exchange on numbers and research that she has looked into and intersects the story of Chicken Little. So I will leave the link down below. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing your thoughts on power wheelchairs and what could improve for the users regarding power wheelchairs. So, and I've inserted my own thoughts on this. So, again, this comes from the National Center for Public Policy Research. And Melissa wrote her article here. So, if you have an article you would like us to discuss or to review, please let us know. I am going to post this for the Wheelchair Tech Fridays, because it's all about technology and the pros and the cons about it. So I think it's an important one. Also, I will find that article. I was looking for it earlier. You remember the gentleman who, in the team that was developing that wheelchair that sits on a ball, right now they're using a bowling ball and have taken a manual wheelchair and set it on top of that bowling ball. And the user right now who's using the prototype, all he has to do is just kind of move back and forth or forward and backward to move the wheelchair, and it can go sideways, it can go backwards, it can go diagonally, because it's on one ball in the middle of the manual wheelchair. So they continue to work on it. My concern about that one is that only people with good core strength would be able to use that type of chair. So, and I think that they realize that, they know that. So, but I'm just saying it here that, it looks very cool, but I think only those who have good core will be able to use it in a safe manner. So I will find that article and I will post it along with the other articles. So I am hoping that you have a great weekend. And if there's anything you want me to develop or to write up, let me know. I also want to reach out to everyone and tell you that I am very grateful for all the subscribers. We are up to 130, so that is quite the feat. And I thank you very much also for your comments and the likes. So again, have a safe and fun weekend, and I will see you next Friday.